Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today, I'm going to be reviewing the Rolex Day Date 36 in Ever Rose Gold with a Brown Ombre Dial, reference 128235. It was a Roman dial, Roman numerals. I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about the history of the day date, then tell you about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar day dates, then tell you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start with the history. Now the history is that the day date has been out for more than 60 years. What makes it a day date is that it has both a day, Monday through Friday or Sunday, and the date, 1 through 31. Here positioned at the 12 o'clock and the 3 o'clock position. Now it looks just like a Datejust, except it has the complication that I just mentioned, and that's what makes it a day date. It's also known by many as the President, and I'll get to that in a minute, why that is. So let's start with that. Now the 36 millimeter has been the size of the President or the day date for a very long time. How long? More than 50 years, or around 50 years or so. In approximately 2000 and I want to say early 2008 or something like that, Rolex decided, you know what, we're going to make a bigger watch and we're going to increase the size from 36 to 41. So they made the Day Date 2. At the time, the day date was actually called the Day Date. It's just called the Day Date because there was no other day date, so there was no need to call it Day Date 36. It was just called the Day Date. And then they made the Day Date 2, which was larger, as you can imagine. And that proved to be a little bit too big at 41 millimeters and a little bit too clunky, so they decreased the size to 40, and it's been that way since around 2015, since they had the Day Date 40. And now you have two sizes, 36 and 40. Now 36 are those who have, as you can imagine, small size and large size, or medium size and large size, let's put it that way. Or it can be a women and men's size. It just depends on your wrist size and your preference for watch size that you wear. Okay, that is a little bit about the history. Now let's talk about where this watch stands in the lineup. Now, the Day Date 36 comes in many different variations. In fact, I believe there's more variations of the Day Date 36 than there are of the 40. And that's because the 36 can be worn by both men and women, and as such, they have a lot more variations for women than they do for men. Okay, now what kind of variations? Well, tons, really. They have it in almost every dial color you can imagine: white, silver, brown ombre, which is what you're looking at, a blue. They have a pink, a mother of pearl. Gosh, the list goes on. Oh, rainbow, I forgot, and a bunch of other different, turquoise, green, every single almost imaginable combination, they have it. All right, and they also have in different materials: rose, yellow, white, platinum, etc. It's one of their most varied collections, and it's also one of their most prestigious collections. And you can see why, because all the day dates are made in precious metal. All right, now let's focus on this one. This one is in rose gold. Rolex calls it Ever Rose. And it has a brown ombre dial. What makes it special is that the brown ombre dial is just that. It has a dial that sort of fades into dark on the periphery, and it's brighter in the center. It's been a recent fad, and maybe fad is not the right word. It's a recent thing a way that Rolex has been making dials with this ombre style, which is really beautiful, and I'll talk to you about it in a bit. Okay, let's start talking about the details of this watch. Let's start with the case. Now the case is 40 millimeters from my thumb to my index finger, 36 millimeters from my thumb to my index finger. That's the longest distance across the bezel. All right, and it's meant for either women that like to wear large watches or men that like to wear small watches. And if you turn it on its side, you'll see that you would think that the watch would be very thick, considering it has all these complications, but it's only 12 millimeters thick, which is a very average size for it's just a very normal size. Okay, so that is the case, and of course made of rose gold. Now let's move on to the bezel. The bezel is fluted. It's their most iconic bezel. They also make it in other variations, but not in rose, not in rose gold. So this is the option that you get, unless you want it in diamonds. So, but I really preferred it in this fluted bezel because, well, it's just their iconic bezel. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the dial here. Now the dial here is an ombre dial. As I told you, the center of it is brighter and it progresses to a deep black around the edges. And they just started doing this ombre. Actually, they started doing the ombres, I think, in the 80s, and they stopped doing it and they relaunched it again in 2019. But they didn't do it across many models. And now they're really starting to do it across a lot of their models. It's become really popular, this ombre dial. Okay. And it's done with a black lacquer, which just means it's kind of painted. So, okay, now let's move on to the bracelet. Now this is the reason why this watch has the name President Bracelet or President Watch, because the bracelet is named the president, and it's also called that because the President Watch, or many presidents have worn the day date or have been gifted the day date. In fact, I believe JFK was gifted a president. So a lot of presidents worn it or have worn it or have some kind of association with it, and hence the name president. Well, that's part of the reason why it's president. So the bracelet itself is president. It has 3 semicircular links that go across. Semicircular means it's not fully circular, it's half circles. And it has a hidden clasp. As you can imagine, the bracelet really has not changed at all. It has the same look. Of course, functionally they've changed it a bit to make it look nicer and to be more functional and more modern. But basically, it looks the same. All right, now it's time for me to try this watch on my wrist. Now I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and I believe 36 looks a little bit too small for me. So I'm not going to choose that. I'm going to suggest for those who have a 7-inch wrist or smaller, they could go with a 36. Even I would say 6.75 or smaller, they can go with 36. But if you have a wrist size larger than that, you probably should go with a size 40. But let's just say for this, that at least you can see what it looks like against my wrist. And I think this definitely could be worn by a woman. Let's say if a woman had a wrist size of, let's say 6 inches or larger, they definitely can go with the 36. If they have one smaller than that, they probably should go with 31. But anyways, what I like about this watch, I love the beautiful dial. I love the brown ombre. I love that it provides a bit of contrast with the rose gold itself on the bracelet and head of the watch, but it still flows seamlessly with the rest of the watch. It's not like some really out there color like turquoise or something that just has no match with it. So I really like that and I believe that with this configuration, you could wear the watch every day, and it's a much more versatile watch. Okay, anyways, so if you like this watch, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.